Shut up and sit down.
Right. Time to modify some parts. Those. As well as that. And these are going to have these cut out. Simulate that. That piece is for the door. So we just run the knife along the edge. And just keep going in that groove. We're going in here. Right away. It's just beginning to creep through. This is the interior. That's the door. And I'm hoping that it will separate right there. So here's a bit of deft knife work. Just go along the edge. Just score bit by bit, which takes a while, but the desired result I think is going to be a rather splendid door. Just see how that's separating a bit. Just beginning to come away nicely. There you go. Like that. Oh, it's really flimsy. But I think two might be coming apart there. Well, that's so fine. At this stage, anyway. Just beginning to come away. Oh, there you go. So we now have inside and outside of the door. Okay. And that is going to slide along. Okay. That's what Revell gave you. Fix the door. I prefer slidage. And again, this is all going to be smoothed off. But progress. We've now got a two-piece door. So I'll put that somewhere safe. And again, it's exactly the same on here. Go around the shape with the knife and just start scoring. When it comes to the corners, I just angle the blade, come around the bend. You can just hear it scraping away, and all you're doing is just scraping a line, like so. Just keep going round and round in circles, squares. Then on the other side you'll see the lines are beginning to form. The lines beginning to wobble. That's it. Just come along the line that I've scored. Bit rough around the edges. Sanding stick will sort that. These come in handy. Bits of plastic. Let's file that. Move on to the next one. Just keep going all the way through. A lot of people probably cringe at this. I think it's a worthwhile modification. Like so, it's just beginning to come really nicely. Yep. So with a knife, we'll go through. Just get it through its first bit. Once you get it through one bit, you'll be surprised how quick the rest complies. There she goes. Give that a bit of a tighten. That one's gone as well. See how you're looking. Bingo. Just beginning to come right. Like so. Bingo. Come on, bites the dust. Hey, you can just get rid of that. sanding. There, you can get a finny stick in there. Start knocking off the edges. Again. Around the corner. All the way round. At this stage it just looks like absolute butchery, but it isn't. It's all controlled. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. I've done this in the past with models where I've wanted opening doors, things of that nature, and I'm probably thinking of doing the same with the Mustang when I get round to doing that. Is it currently has fixed doors, but I'm thinking of doing them as openers. Just getting ready to pop, like so. The wall's quite scary when you come on, because you think, one false move and you're ruined, but not always. You know, there are times when you can do this and it works perfectly. There are others when you do it and it all ends in tears. So far, she's behaved. Ready with the sanding stick. Maybe that looks better already. That's one modified. About the same with this one. This plastic's a hell of a lot thinner. This all the way round. Oh, that's like a knife for a butter. Scoring. Dust. Looking good. The boxes will go behind there. Go on the back of there, I do believe, like so. So we end up with the door as a separate unit, like so. And then I just figure out how then to build the sliding mechanism. Looks like it's gonna work. Famous last words. But I think it will. That's what I'm hoping. It's quite thick as well, so I'm wondering whether to thin it down a bit. We'll see. I reckon that'll work. Because originally that would have sat been glued as one piece across there. But I'm now making it two. But I've got to get the door around here and sliding. I think we're going to have to do quite a bit of modifying on here. I think that needs to go, that piece. I think a section along there will need to go as well. Just a score line to demonstrate. That's what I think I'll have to go. Is at least that much. Off of there. So we lose this whole edge. So that piece, in theory, then slides along here. Because that piece sits like so. It'll be fixed along the front of the cab. That's basically what we're going to be doing. But it's a double thickness coming across there. That's what we're hoping for. But I'll do that. It'll work. It'll work. Achievements today. Wonder if that's the door. Removed. Shows that it is possible. That's what we had. That's what I'm hoping we'll get. That effect. That's what I'm hoping. But it all depends on what I can do in here. Let's chop out a track along there. And then the same for the roof section of the cab. I think it'll work. I'll do a bit of measuring. Yeah, do a little bit of measuring and that. Because that's going to be the front of the cab. That is now in there. So and then that'll all join together. He says optimistically. And then it's figuring that out so that it runs right the way inside. So it's going to be at least that thick. But I am pleased with that. To be honest, it's not a bad bit of modifying. Again, they'll have styrene box on the back with an LED. They'll light all three of those. Happy days, happy days. Da 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 da. Safely say that they're done. Put the spare bits back in there. That's for modifying then. What we got left? One of those. They're done. Suitably modded. That is now done. Come back to those. And then it will be removing this horrible bloody grill. I've had to draw around the inside of the surround. I'll drill through there because when the mesh goes in, I want it to have a bit of support. Yeah. So that'll be the next piece to modify. Right. Possibly drill these out in anticipation of the LEDs going in. But all in all, we'll you firmly in the can be achieved list. And start some more assembly. So it's a little bit more there with the modifying. The radiator's now in place. Used a piece of mesh that you would use on car bodywork to do the radiator grille. You can get that from car auto factors. It's the stuff you use to do fiberglass filling. And then I glued it to the back of the radiator surround. Bit of putty. Filled that in. Drilled the holes out, ready for the LEDs, for the side lights and the main headlights. And done some more work on the cab, which has really come up well. I'll just change the camera's position for that so that you can see a bit clearer. See? So it's come up really well. And what there is you've got 3 strips of styrene that have gone in to make this channel here. That is what takes the sliding door, like so. Okay. And then it slides along the channel, like so. It gives me what I want, because I intend to display it with the door open, so that you can see in the driver's cab area. A little bit dusty. Let's get rid of some of that dust because I've been doing other stuff. So it's got a little bit dusty in there already, which I don't mind because it does make it look a little bit used and abused. So that's the basis of the cab. A few little decals have gone in up there, which was the travelling height of the bus. How many feet it is, and what I've done there is I've just distressed the decal slightly so it looks like it's been in there a number of years and has been picked at by the driver when he's bored, that sort of stuff. Bit frayed around the edges. That door will slide in and out really well once the back of the bus cab is in place. That's the real strong modification done now on that. It's just a little bit of tweaking on that, especially when the door's closed, because there's a channel, it's quite deep, and you end up with a tad of a gap there, and what I want is the door just to tighten as it closes so that it sits pretty much like so. I've just got to build this little area back up again, but do it at an angle, like a slice of cheese. So as the door goes in, it clears the thickness, and then as it comes out, it just tapers and pins the door nice and shut. But I'll probably be displaying it like so. So yeah. We're good on that. You've got a bit of a dashboard stuff done now. There's a decal there for the speedometer. So again, just a little bit of weathering little bit of paint missing, you know, the usual stuff that you would do to distress it. And obviously I've got a large section of it that I've cut out for a reason, which is for the LED. For the side light there, there's a corresponding hole appears inside, and when the dash is in place, you feed the LED up from under here, drop it in its hole, and then the legs of the LED will come down here, and that's where the wiring connection would be. Purely and simply done it that way, so if I do have to change a bulb, I haven't got to strip the bus apart. I can do it from underneath just by removing a wheel. So hopefully that will solve that problem. So we can give that a bit of a glue and fit in place now. Just dry fit it first because I want to make sure that the clipboard part of the dash clears. Let's take the door out. Don't need that in there at the moment. So yeah, it's just making sure before I glue that I'm happy about how everything is fitting in place. Because once he's in, he's in. There's no going back. So yeah, we can live with that. So you can have a bit of glue in the moat. One thing I have noticed as well is when you clean the brush out in an old grotty pot of X28, it does take up a really dull grey tone, which is really great for weathering underneath the wheel arches of the vehicle, because it dries up looking just like road dirt. So Festa's little tip for the day: make road dirt out of old grotty brush fillings. Works for me. Give it a try, see what you think. If it doesn't work for you, don't worry. We've not lost nothing. I find it really does work well for me. So I use it all the time. Ta-da! Love it when a plan comes together. One thing I have noticed is that little bit of visible plastic I can see there is going to go. Right down there, that's it. Doing my head in that. So, you're gone. Another little bit there. And it's these little touches that you can do at this stage of the build. That bit of paint in there as well. Lovely. So, put that to one side to dry it. Get the back of the bus. Seat back. Start getting that put together so that we can see what we're looking like. Some extra fin on that. that all put in place. Ready. There's all these little details that make the difference. And it's very, very matte at the moment for a reason, which will become clear when this is dry and I start doing a bit of weathering on it. It's that colour for a reason, just in case some of you out there are going, ooh, it's a bit too matte. Get the wheels looked at for you. So that's all of that one. That should be for that wheel. So, already pre-cut the pieces off the sprues. This actually is the plug that retains the wheel on the axle. Don't glue it because it spins freely like so. Get the front part of the rear wheel in place. Bit of extra fin. Work your way around like I do there. All the way around. Like so. And then what I tend to do is I tend to then just give it a little spin. And you just feel the glue start to bite. Bang. Done. A bit like when you're drawing in plastic pipe. If you're doing a plumbing job. You put a bit on the pipe, on the fitting. Give it a little twist. And suddenly the adhesive melts the plastic and it bites. So it ain't coming off then. Put the centre hub in place. Like so. One twin rear wheel built. So do that twice. Yes, twice. Let it dry and then give it a prime and that'll be ready for paint. Okay, that's rear wheel. Same with the front. Get yourself a pin. Pop it in like so. Make sure you're spinning freely. Just like that. Front section of the wheel. Again, all the way around with your extra thin cement. Let it start doing its job. Gets well in there. And again, just give it a press and a turn. Bang. And all plastic melts. Get in place. Done. Happy days. And then just give these a little tweak. Like so. Locate the two lugs first. And then just go around. Dab. 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 And that is a front wheel done. All part of the fun. 2 of those. 2. That'll be your wheels done. Actually got really good detail on these as well. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, I'm impressed. Nice bit of detail. I like detail. And we got a steering assembly. So that'll be ready to go in. Like so. A little dry fit of Rooney, just to make sure. So that goes in place. Like that. Nice resounding click. That's what I like. Give that a dab. Some extra fin. I like a nice resounding click when 2 pieces of model kit go together. Just lets you sit there and think, well, you ain't coming off, are you? And I've got a trick that's going to happen here. And that is this little guy. I say little guy, this very tall guy. It's totally out of proportion. It's actually going to be the bus driver. Yep, you heard me right. I am putting a driver, a conductor, and passengers in this bus because practically everyone I have seen has got none. No driver, no passengers, no one. Hence why the sliding door. I might as well put you all out of your misery. You know, you're going to have a driver, and as you can see, he's way too big for the cab. So I'm going to modify him by getting rid of his arms, sanding them off. I'm then going to cut probably 5mm out of the bottom and the top of his legs, and bung them together. And I'm going to take 5mm out of the torso as well. To try and get this guy to fit in the cab. So we're going to be losing a chunk out of the leg, another chunk out of the leg, and a chunk out of the torso, which will shrink everything down, hopefully then allowing him to fit in there. And then I'll warm up his legs so that they stretch to the pedals, and put another set of arms on. I've got another guy here, I've got several of these. I'm going to, bless him, I'm going to amputate his arms and then fit them to the driver, modify them, shorten them, and get them to actually grip the steering wheel, and then put these guys in London Transport uniform, paint their faces and stuff. So yeah, you'll have a driver, and then I've got another one of these that will become the bus conductor, and then he's going to have the pouch around his shoulder on his side for the money, and then coming over his shoulders He's then going to have a ticket machine, excuse my bad drawing, and that'll have all the appropriate straps on it, etc. And he's going to be stood on the rear platform with an authentic looking machine that's all going to be scratch built. So I'll show you how to do that. Greeting the passengers, going to be some passengers on, getting on the bus, some walking up the stairs, several sitting newspapers, so they're all going to have shrunk down copies of newspapers made, and really go to town on this build. So, there's an opportunity there for people that are thinking of doing this. They'll be able to see it done, add their own little improvements as they see fit, and go off and do theirs, so I think that'll add something different to the bus. I've seen, like I say, I've seen a lot of them on the internet, and they're all great builds, don't get me wrong. I'm not criticising anyone's choices, but for me personally, I am a detail freak. Those that know me, Tony, that have seen photographs of my E-Type, will know that I get really quite into fine detail work. So yeah, as you can see, he's totally out of proportion. Bit of modification on this guy, and it will fit the seat. It'll fit the bus, and we'll go from there. And like I say, this conductor's going to have a little trick up his sleeve as well, which I will do later in the build. But he'll have a little trick up his sleeve that I'm hoping with a bit of electronics wizardry will enable me to excel myself, because I like to challenge myself on these builds. Just out of shot there, that tiny little fire extinguisher that goes behind the driver's seat. They've got the labels on it. Oh, detail. Gotta have detail. Detail's fun. It's the engine. First stage of the weathering. It's now dry. Little things like pipes are going to come up for the fuel to go into the injectors and that. So loads of detail work that I want to do to that before I even put it in the chassis. So as you can see, quite a bit to do. So I'm going to modify these guys. Do a bit of chopping up, see how that works. Hence why I've not put the back on the cab yet, because this is going to be on and off, on and off, on and off until I've got the driver where I need him to fit. And then once I've got him where I think he works, then obviously I can fix this into place and continue the model build. But at this moment in time, I'm having to pause just because I'm calling more and more detail as I go, that if I don't get right at this stage, I'm not going to be able to get right at the end, because this kit's going to be fully assembled. I think a driver in there is going to add a bit of realism. Definitely I love how this is beginning to turn out. Still room for improvement on this. Little tweaks to get it sliding how I want it to slide. But for something I didn't think or hadn't seen being done, it's not actually gone that bad. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. Pleased with how the LEDs work. I've test fitted one already to make sure I can get in there with that. I've even added a few London Transport patch repairs to the wheel arch. A bit of welding's been done in the workshop. A few plates and bits and pieces added. All adds authenticity. So, cab, wheels, our little fellas are all beginning to come together. So, I think we're beginning to look pretty rosy on this for now. So I'm going to just go and chop off the next bits and pieces off the sprues for the next stage that we can continue next. And then, after the modifications have taken place, it's had a coat of paint. Its first little bit of a wash with some Starship filth. As you can see, look at that. That's the end result. It's a little bit tight at the moment. It just needs a bit of sanding on the paint. But that's how it's going to be displayed with this little guy. My modified driver. And he'll sit in like so. There or thereabouts. And it just adds a little touch of realism to an otherwise quite bland part. So that'll be stage one of the modifications finished. Just got to glue this all together, and then that will go into the chassis as one complete assembly instead of multiple assemblies as in the instructions. All in all, a good modification, ready for the LEDs to go in. So I can put that to one side now. Thank you for watching.